I am Ridge Schuyler, and I'm the Dean of Community Self-Sufficiency Programs at Piedmont Virginia Community College, and also the Director of the Charlottesville Works Initiative. And we are focused on finding people who've been left behind in our economy and trying to get them quality jobs so they can realize their potential as human beings. Let me set the stage by giving you a glimpse of the kind of person who's been left behind in our economy. There's a single mother who lived in a homeless shelter not 4 blocks from where we're sitting right now with 4 children. She worked in the cafeteria at the University of Virginia Hospital, and all she wanted to do was move from one side of the counter to the other, from working as a cafeteria worker to working as a nurse or someone in the nursing profession. And with our help, she was able to get into our program, get a certified nurse assistant's license, and now she's making a very good wage providing for her family at the University of Virginia Hospital. That's what this has been allowed us to do. Sadly, there are 5,612 families in Charlottesville and Albemarle who do not earn enough to meet their basic needs of food, shelter, clothing, and utilities, and the costs associated with working, childcare, and transportation. That is 1 out of every 5 families in our community. That's the challenge that we need to confront, and that's the one that we are working to address. What I saw in our community was that there are employers who are desperate for workers. As one example, the University of Virginia Hospital needed 200 certified nurse assistants in 2 years ago that they could not find. So we had employers who were desperate for high-quality individuals with high-quality jobs. Similarly, we had people who were desperate for work. They would love to work at the University of Virginia Hospital, but they didn't know how to find their way to that. In addition, they didn't know how to find the supports they needed in order to get those jobs. They didn't know how to be trained to become a certified nurse assistant in that case. They didn't have the transportation they needed. They didn't have reliable childcare. So the system had to figure out, how do I get them the training and the supports they need in order to fill these jobs, which we have in great numbers. We have job seekers. We have employers that need quality workers. We have resources and providers that are standing by to help people. What we don't have is an intentional system that connects all three. We are fortunate that we have employers in our region who would love to connect with folks who've been left behind in our economy and give them quality jobs. But the employer can't find those people, and those people can't find those jobs. The peer network steps into the void and connects the job seeker with that great job opportunity and all the supports they need in order to get from here to there, so that the employer gets the employee that they crave and the job seeker gets the job that values them as a human being. When I first launched the Charlottesville Works Initiative, I was really a one-man band. And so I was trying to identify the job opportunities, identify the people being left behind, and identify the services that people needed. I needed to build out the infrastructure of the Charlottesville Works Initiative. It was the right model, but there wasn't enough manpower to make it work. And so really what we needed is we needed more people to help us bring this model into reality. We needed more peers to find the people being left behind. We needed somebody to talk to the providers to make sure they had the services geared up and ready for use. We needed to make sure we had the jobs available. So we needed more bandwidth. And the Community Foundation helped us immensely by expanding our bandwidth, by giving us the resources we needed to find additional help so that we could make this model a reality. The Strengthening Systems grant helped me hire a peer network coordinator, someone who could support those well-connected, well-respected peers, the folks who are reaching out and finding the folks who've been left behind. We needed someone to support those peers. And those peers are people who are, by their own nature, interested in helping their friends and neighbors. But the peers themselves needed someone that they could rely on to help them navigate the different providers and jobs that are available. So our peer network coordinator was hired through a systems grant to provide that support to our peers. And when we started the Strengthening Systems grant, we had 2 trained peers. Today we have over 120 trained peers. We have 120 people out looking for folks who've been left behind and trying to connect them to the quality jobs and the supports they need. The other thing the Strengthening Systems grant did for us was it expanded our administrative support capacity that freed me up from doing the filing invoices and finding receipts and let me really focus my attention on building out this model. The grant by giving me more capacity allowed me to show greater success. I was able to move more job seekers into better jobs as a result of the Strengthening Systems Grant. And with that success came other grant funders who were willing to invest in something that had shown promise. Without the Strengthening Systems Grant, I would not have been able to show promise, I would not have been able to show results, and those doors would have remained closed to me. So the Community Foundation was very helpful just in the application process for getting the grant and explaining what it was that they were trying to achieve with the Strengthening Systems Grant and giving me incredibly excellent technical advice about how to actually go through the grant process. One of the great benefits of a Strengthening Systems Grant is that you get a thought partner to help you work through the knotty issues of solving problems that are by definition very large and very important in our community. And I have greatly benefited from the expertise of the Community Foundation to help me think through issues about how to report and collect data, how to think through knotty problems, how to collaborate with partners in a way that is effective and non-threatening. The Community Foundation, by definition, had the same systems level view that we had. And it was nice to have somebody external to us to bounce ideas off of who knew exactly what we were trying to achieve. The Community Foundation convened a group of providers to talk about how do you, in reality, wrap services around an individual. What is the mechanism for doing that? Because if you can't figure out how to do that, you can't serve people at the scale that is needed. I have two pieces of advice for folks who are pursuing a Strengthening Systems Grant. First, you need to be very, very clear about what system you are seeking to strengthen. It is often very difficult to understand where the weak point is in a system, and that is, you've got to be very, very clear on that. The second piece of advice is prepare to be adaptable. When dealing with human beings, the world is constantly shifting, and you have to be nimble at shifting with it.